Good evening and welcome back to the Metro Detroit Poker Series. I am your host, Terry Prince, and beside me today, again, for this Tournament of Champions, is last year's Tournament of Champions runner-up and this year's Player of the Year, Bob Williamson.
Thanks, Terry. I'm happy to be back. Let's see how the season closes out.
We've got our Tournament of Champions today, the 50 qualifiers for this, which is right about average. We had 51 player average for each event this year. 15 players made the cash in this TOC at a $6,400 prize pool. We had 123 different players over the 9 events in this year's season. Coming up for the final table here, we've got Jeremy Freeman in seat number 1. Seat number 2, Istvan Rosa. Been at a couple of final tables here. Seat number 3, Matt Vigiano. And seat number 4, making his TV debut, I believe, Al Hurd.
Love the addition of the pictures in this video.
And seat number 5, Josh Saputo. Seat number 6, Mike Hines. Moving over to seat number 7, Anthony Murray. This is his third TV table, I think. Seat number 8, also I believe his third TV table, is Mark Peterson. Seat number 9, sitting next to me, Bob Williamson. And rounding out this final table of the Tournament of Champions in seat number 10, Gary Gultieri. What do you think of this final table, Bob?
We should have an exciting final table. You can see the chip counts here. About 3 people only with really room to maneuver in their stacks. Everybody else could be in for all or nothing at the beginning here until some people bust out.
Josh, Anthony, and Gary really have their work cut out for them at the bottom of that pile. 9,000, 9,000, and 5,700 chips. They definitely need to see some cards early.
I noticed another important count here, Terry. 7 players wearing baseball hats. Anthony rocking the fedora. And Gary and Al both going en natural.
Well, that's an astute observation. We're going to start this final table with blinds at 1,000 and 2,000. Our very first hand of the final table, Al looks down at Queen Deuce offsuit. Pretty sure that's going to end up in the muck.
Yeah, and I think what you can expect here, Jeremy with the big stack, I think if I were in Jerry's shoes, I'd be raising every hand that was folded around to me until I met some resistance. A lot of short stacks here can't afford to play some marginal hands.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so far it is getting folded right around to him. Bob looking down at 4-3 into the muck. Gary, Jack 9. And Jeremy actually wakes up with a hand at King 10 suited. On the button, folded around to him, and he's reaching for chips. Puts 4,500 into the pot. Just a little over a min raise. Ish looks down at 10-8 offsuit, mucks it. Matt mucks his 9-3, and Jeremy takes down the blinds with that 4,500 bet, and we're off and running at the final table.
Good start for Jeremy. Did you happen to see the final table, the final hand before the final table, Terry? Al busted out 2 players when he flopped quad 8s. He had 2 other players all in with pocket pairs, and that propelled him to having a nice chip stack.
Yeah, those quads are always, they play themselves, don't they?
They do. It was all in pre-flop, and Al came from behind there to knock 2 people out.
Wow. What a hand. Yep, here we go again, folding around to Jeremy with Queen 6 of diamonds this time.
Good enough for him to raise with the big stack here.
But he doesn't.
Let's go.
Ish looks down at pocket deuces.
Only 7 blinds or so for Ish. He could easily shove this here.
Deuces never loses.
You're not much of a favorite against much of anything if you get called, but, certainly we're shoving.
He is on the button here, so you got to take that into account. And he throws him away. A little bit of a surprise. Matt calls the small blind with ace with 8-4, and Al comes over the top for 6,000 with ace 8.
Matt's gonna give him some action, looks like.
A couple of bigger stacks going at it, and here we go. We're gonna see a flop. Al's way out in the lead. Queen 6-6, rainbow.
Jeremy regretting the Queen 6 fold already.
Neither player got any help out of that flop. Matt checks, Al bets out, and Matt goes away. So Al takes down 18,000 chips with his ace high hand. Blinds are up now, 1,200 and 2,400. Mike on the button.
Yeah, no one busting during that level. So the average stack even smaller right now. So should be all or nothing.
Gary has enough chips to block the camera with his chips, so we don't know what he had there.
I think Gary, as usual, is a short stack, right? No one rides that short stack like Gary.
No, he definitely plays from behind quite a bit, and he's really good at it.
Jeremy raising again.
King, Queen, runs into Ace, Queen. Jeremy's
with a big hand here.
In sad shape here with one live card. Let's see what Ish is going to do here. Got to think this is shove territory for him.
Wow, he's really thinking it over. Maybe he's thinking about laddering up here without getting too risky.
He is in middle position, so wow, he throws it away.
That's very surprising.
Well,
maybe he knew something.
Maybe he knew something. Mike shoves all in with a pair of ladies, pocket queens. Anthony looks down at ace 4 of clubs. He's in the small blind, and Mike is all in for 18,600.
So there's a raise and a shove in front of him. I can't imagine he's
no, not with ace 4. Yeah, he goes into the muck. Mark looks down at jack 4. Pretty sure that's going in the muck.
Yeah, now on to Jeremy, while he should be opening pretty wide, it doesn't mean he has to call this off here. It's enough chips to put a little dent in his stack. So.
Oh, yeah, it's 12,000 chips to call this. And,
odds-wise, not so bad, but...
We can see he's dominated.
Right.
And, drawn to one live card, 3 outs, basically, barring the miracle straight or flush draw. But, yeah, I would think... a fold would definitely be a wise move here. But he's given it some ample consideration.
Yeah, Jeremy is a very deliberate player. He does take his time, and I've seen him take some time and make some really big calls on places where I'm like, wow, I would have folded that hand. And, he turns out to be right and make the call.
He does throw it away, and Mike's going to take down that pot and gets a little bit healthier. Hand number 7 here at the final table. Anthony's on the button. Still at 12 and 2,400. Gary still blocking the camera partially. We caught a 10.
He's going to need a talking to, I think, after this. With as many final tables as he's made, you'd think he'd know what to do by now.
Well, he puts all his chips in, 5,700 of them.
Yeah, not a lot of chips. That's probably another 10 down there, maybe an ace to go with it.
Folds around to Al, looking at Jack King off. Say that 3 times fast.
That's a pretty optimistic call there. Middle position, marginal hand. What are you going to do if someone shoves all in behind you? It's going to shrivel up pretty quickly.
Well, it looks like he's going to get lucky here. It folds around to the small blind mark with 4 deuce, so I'm pretty sure he's not calling. He doesn't. Bob in the big blind looks down at 9-10 suited. Cheap call here for Bob.
Yeah, about 4-1 odds here. It's going to be tough to, there's no folding here. It's going to knock his stack down a little bit to fewer than 10 blinds, but, odds are too good here to at least see what happens.
Yep. He calls the 3,300, and we're going to have 3-way action at the flop. We see 3-5-5. Where's Terry when you need him?
Huh.
Not going to cut it. Nobody's got Terry's hand. Al and Bob both check. Another 3 on the turn. Puts 2 pair out there. Checks around. Queen on the river.
Should check through. Yeah, Gary's ace is going to hold up.
Looks like Gary's tables the ace that Bob called earlier, and that's going to take it down with the 2 pair on the board.
And not surprisingly, Gary works that short stack, triples up.
Does the victory lap around his chair and sits back down. Gary on the button now. Matt's going to be first to act. Looks down at pocket 8s. Pair of snowmen. What's he going to do here? He's reaching for chips. Makes it just a call.
I don't really advocate the open limp there, but, it's early at the final table, playing a little bit cautiously, see what happens.
I get it with the middle to low pairs. You can get away from them easily if you meet some resistance, and you got out cheap.
Look at Josh here. He's only got 4, 5, 6 blinds, something like that in the stack, and he's going to speculate here for a blind. Highly unusual.
Early position with
Oh, look at Jeremy here. If he
non-suited connectors.
if he feels the resistance here, he should be jamming his stack in and putting these guys to the test. But
Small blind limp. Ish looks down at 4-6. He sees a cheap flop.
yeah, give this a chance here.
4-way action to the flop. Josh is actually the favorite here, 40%, 41%. 2 overcards.
6 for
He
Ish.
caught a jack.
Oh, jack.
Jack 6 deuce, rainbow flop.
Looks like his speculation is going to pay off here.
Josh got top pair with a decent kicker. And goes all in.
Yeah, no one's going to be able to call this, I don't think. It's not a ton of chips, but
Well, Jeremy and Ish both caught middle pairs, so
Yeah.
you got to wonder what's going to happen here.
Jeremy can certainly afford it this year.
Yeah, I'd say Ish isn't gonna
Ish can't do it.
gonna come around. If maybe if another heart was out there,
And Matt's 8s are shuffling up here too. It's gonna be tough for him to call. You might want to call it. Matt's got a good amount of chips here.
Jeremy folds his middle pair, top kicker. Ish easily folds his, and Matt does throw away the 8s. Josh takes this down on that speculation, Queen Jack. Looks like he folded it or showed it, so everybody know he did have the top pair.
Yeah.
Blinds up again now. We're at 1,500 and 3,000 chips. Ish on the button. Josh will be first to act with Jack 10 offsuit. Had an exposed card there. Michael's down at King 3 into the mark. Around the mark. Ace 4.
Good.
Bob, table 6-10. Gary 6-5. Ace deuce for Jeremy.
Fold it around to Jeremy again.
He's in the cutoff position here.
Certainly gonna open.
Raises to 7,000 with his suited ace. And Matt also looks down at ace deuce, unsuited.
Unsuited but out of position.
And with
Right.
luck they go from the small blind. Al's got K9. The dog.
Yeah,
hand.
certainly a defendable hand. Al's got a good sized stack here. He knows Jeremy should be opening wide.
Suited King 9. Does make the call. Flop comes 8-9 Jack. Al catches a 9. Couple of hearts.
Did he just move in?
He did.
Wow.
And Jeremy quickly folds. Caught none of that.
Al had a pretty big stack, probably more than twice the pot there, and Jeremy's the only player who can bust him. A little bit of surprise on that wet board from just move in with middle pair.
Still at 1,500, 3,000. Folds around the mark with 10-8 into the muck. Bob looks down at King Queen. Definitely playable for a shorter stack, and he goes all in for 27,000 chips.
8, 9 blinds there. If you're playing push or fold, it's going to be on the push side. A little bit risky, but some of the bigger stacks to act yet. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of one
there
of
you
those
go.
bigger stacks, woke up with Ace Queen of Hearts. Yeah, Bob might be thinking now that he wished he would have just did a small
raise.
Yeah, a limp or a min raise, because Matt comes in over the top all in.
Yeah, if he min raises there, he could probably get away with from a jam and still have 6, 7 blinds left.
So here we are. Bob pretty dominated, got one live card and an
Oh,
ace
boy.
right in the window. And at this point, Matt takes down his hand. Bob is our first player eliminated from the final table. Goes out in 10th place as he ships all his chips over to Matt.
Yeah, not happy to bust in 10th with a middle-sized stack there. Any ICM wizards out there might have a differing opinion if that's a fold or if that's a push, right?
He does take down $220 for his effort and his Player of the Year award. Here we are now 9-handed. We're still at 1,500, 3,000. Folds all the way over to Mark with Ace-10 offsuit.
I think he's only got about 4.5 blinds, something like
He's in
that.
the hijack spot here. Counting out chips. What's he going to do? He doesn't look to have a whole lot left, although it does look like he's got a couple of blue chips there on the top of his stack. So his blues are 5,000 apiece. He moves all in for 13,000 chips.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty standard decision there. 4.5 blinds.
Yeah, that's a shove or fold. That's all you got. 13. Folds around to Matt in the big blind with Ace-4 offsuit. 10,000 chips here to call. He's definitely got the chips to do it.
Yeah, definitely. You can go either way on this. 4 blinds. What does he think of Mark's shoving range?
And he decides to against it.
Gives
puts
him a
his
little
cards in
respect.
the muck, and Mark's going to take this down. Blinds up now at 2,000, 4,000. Ish on the button. Josh first to act with K9 offsuit. Folds it. Anthony looks down at Queen 10, shoves his last 4,500 chips into the pot.
Yeah, just barely over 1 blind. So you can see,
Yeah, that was a any face card will do ya.
guys are holding on with a very small amount of chips. So, some of the bigger stacks can certainly look to exploit that.
Matt makes the call from the small blind with Ace-Jack. Al calls the 500 chip raise.
Well, I'd like to see Matt raise that there and isolate this.
Yeah, I think that would have been a wise move myself.
I think 13,000, 14,000 would do it. No problem there.
Ace-3-5, it checks.
Al picks up the flush draw.
And a straight draw.
And a straight draw now, too, right?
Matt bets out. Al calls.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Al did catch his flush. Matt's got top pair. Anthony's...
And he's probably going to have to call
all
off a
out.
bet here. So,
Yeah, Matt checks. Al bets 6,000, a nice
Oh.
value bet.
Yeah, very small bet for that size pot.
Gets an insta call from Matt, and Al takes down this pot, 35,000 chips. Takes Anthony out in the process. As everybody tables their cards, and now we see that.
Yeah, Matt's going to look back at this and not be happy that he let Al in for free there.
Yep. Al got a cheap call, flushes out on the river.
Yep. Still, Matt's got plenty of chips, though. It didn't hurt him too much.
Takes Anthony out in ninth for $175.
Good job, Anthony. Relative newcomer to the events here, but he's done pretty well in a short time.
Yeah, he comes out from the other side of town, so it's a little bit of a drive for him to make it out here. Still at 2,000, 4,000 blinds. Ish shoves all in with Ace Queen.
Yeah, no avoiding it now, Ish.
No,
Gotta move in.
9,000 chips. He's only got 2 bigs. So folds around to Mark with Jack 8. Into the muck they go from cutoff, or he was on the button.
Gary with a nice hand here.
Gary with pocket 10s in the small blind.
I think Gary just called there, too. I think that's for almost half his stack. He might be letting Jeremy in here very cheap.
Yeah, that's just a min raise essentially.
And Gary can't fold, right? If Jeremy comes over the top, he's not going to fold with half his stack already in there. So
Well, I don't think you fold that no matter what happens anyway.
So a surprise for him not to shove in right there.
Yep, I agree. It's kind of a conservative move because I don't see any other option here that, if Jeremy raises, you can't really go away with that hand.
Jerry's really considering it here. I don't think he was thinking about making a move. I think he was just thinking about calling there. But with the odds there,
I'm surprised that he folded with having basically a min raise in front of him.
he was in the small blind.
6-4. This did pick up an ace. Gary did not catch a 10. Ish doubles up, actually more than doubles up.
Yeah. So Ish's patience earlier, we questioned a couple of those folds there, but he gets it in good, and he gets it in as a coin flip and doubles up. So he's back in the hunt now.
And Gary's back to playing his short stack like he's used to. Still at 2-4 here. Josh looks down at ace-6 of clubs. In the
and I think Josh only has 2 blinds here.
Under the gun position.
So he's got to go.
Yep, and he does. Puts it all in, 7,000 chips.
Less than 2 blinds even.
Mike folds over to Mark with King 8 offsuit.
Well, he's certainly going to get action from the big blind, right? It's going to be less than one more blind to call.
It's not even a min raise. It's 3,000 to call.
So we know he's going to get it called at least in one spot, maybe more.
Mark and Gary both fold. Jeremy and Ish fold. Matt folds. No, he's from the small blind. Yep. Matt folds 9-5. Dolly Parton from the small blind. Alex down at Jack 3. Yep, and here comes.
He's got a hand that he could consider folding to any more at all, but this is so little raise. he's got to play it.
Yep, and he's actually not all that far behind.
Right.
But an ace right out of the gate.
And a 6.
Josh makes 2 pair on the turn.
Just piling on.
And does get the double up plus.
So he's got enough to get him through the big blind now, at least.
Chips just keep making their way around the table. Now our blinds are at 3,000, 6,000. Cost of poker keeps going up.
Gary found a decent hand to get his last blind and a half in.
9,500 chips.
Another situation where the big blind's certainly going to have to call.
You might get more than that. Even the small blind's got to seriously consider it.
Oh, for sure.
Folds around to Josh in the small blind. He's down at Queen Deuce.
It's probably a hand he can let go, knowing the big blind's going to take him on.
He does fold. Mike makes the cheap call for 3,500 chips with 8-5. Not exactly a great hand. Dominated pretty much 3-1, but does catch an 8 right off the bat. Gary's got a straight draw. Does not catch it. Mike takes Gary out with that 8-5. Gary will be our 8th place finisher, $195. Nursing the short stack most of the way.
Yeah, it got too short for even Gary to resuscitate there. He was going to get called no matter what.
That does happen a lot at these the final table, and as we get, you get so short relative to the blinds that you can't protect your hand. As we get later in the night, it's 1:15 in the morning already, and it's get out of my basement time really.
Yep.
But it is what it is. Here we go. This looks down at King Queen offsuit.
Couldn't be faulted for getting it in here again, I think. But he folds it.
Folds it. Al folds. Josh looks down at 10-8. From the button into the muck they go. Mike shoves with Queen 6 of spades.
From the small blind, right?
Yep, small blind, 31,000 chips.
You can't fault him here. Mark's got less. Obviously, Mark's got a big hand. He's going to call, but Mark's going to fold a lot of hands there if Mike just shoves from the small blind.
Sure. That's kind of a risky, definitely a mediocre hand for a shove. And Mark's got ace queen hearts. He's not going anywhere. And Mark is all in. So we'll look this one down. Mike's thinking, oh shit, what did I do?
And you notice again, Ish was right to fold that king queen. Another ace queen showed up.
What does Ish know?
He knows something today, I tell you.
Mike does not catch a 6, gets no help on the board cards, and doubles up Mark. And now Mark's got a pretty decent sized stack. Mike's going to be really short.
Yep, I don't mind him making that move there. It's going to pay off sometimes. Other times you're going to be really short.
Yeah, you're pushing the shorter stacks around, and that's kind of what you got to do when you have the chance.
Yeah, Mike's another relative newcomer who's done pretty well this season.
And it folds around to Mark. He's in the button with ace-10 offsuit.
And Mark's probably the third newcomer, right, that has made this final table. And Matt. So all relatively new players making this final table.
That's the young crowd coming in.
I don't know about young, but it's certainly
right,
new to the
certainly
group.
New. Mark raises the 12,000 chips, a 3x raise. Jeremy's going to look down at ace-7 of clubs. Jeremy's in the small blind.
He's thinking about it.
Gets in for a little bit of a discount, but it's still 10,000 chips to call, 2.5 blinds. And he debates.
I don't want to say Jeremy takes a long time, but I did watch season 2 of Cobra Kai on my phone while waiting for him to act one night.
Oh my goodness. That was almost like the video a couple of videos ago where we kept having to trim out all the fat. 2 minutes later. That's, who was that did that?
I'm not sure.
Jeff.
Jeff, yes, Jeff's known for taking his time.
Jeff Humes, that's who it was. Had to trim that down a couple of times. He's not the only one, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and sometimes you're in certain situations where it's okay to take your time, right?
Yep.
But
Jeremy does make the call here with ace-7 offsuit, and Ish quickly folds. We're going to see a flop as soon as everybody counts out their chips. Jeremy's still trying to figure out how to add it up to 10K. So into the middle they go. Jeremy's a 3-2 dog here.
that's a great flop for Mark.
4-4-10. Mark catches top and has a hammerlock on his hand.
I think he just moved in.
Jeremy checked. Mark went all in, and you gotta figure Jeremy's gone.
I think about a third size pot is in order there. Mark with more than double the pot again, I think.
Well, when you don't know what he's got,
Yep.
what he's drawn to, you want to make his decision difficult.
There's a lot of cards he wouldn't like on the turn, I suppose.
Yep, so quick.
Mark with another good hand to play.
Yep, ace-9 of clubs. Thinking about it here. And reaches for chips. Makes a raise to 15,000. 2.5x raise. Jeremy's going to look down at Queen-Jack offsuit.
Yeah, so the room Jeremy had to play is pretty much gone now. His stack is down, even with most of the other players. So I wouldn't expect him to be overly aggressive or calling anything too late anymore.
Folds all the way over to Josh, who calls all in with 4-7 offsuit from the big blind.
Certainly all in for less, right?
Yeah, he was
not even another blind or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
He was definitely short. Made the call, only had a couple thousand chips on top. He was already in the big blind. It was pretty much no matter what going in. And considering the cards that he's got, it went in no matter what. He does have 2 live cards. Catches some draws. He's got a gutter, double gutter, but neither one comes in. Josh Saputo then goes out in 7th place, $235 for his efforts.
Yeah, now Mark's built himself quite a stack now, I think.
Yes, he did. We're still at 3-6 blinds, but we have a dead small. So Mike will be in the big blind all by his lonesome. Mark looks down at 8 for offsuit.
Not very enticing.
Nope. Into the muck it goes. Jeremy quickly folded his hand.
Folds all around. Al's got a pretty solid hand here.
Now on
Small
the button
blind?
with no small blind.
Oh, that's right, on the button.
Makes a raise,
Enough to put Mike all in.
which again he was short too. Only had another 1,500 chips, so Same situation. It was
Yep.
going all in no matter what.
Yep, easily the right move here.
Mike had a slightly better hand than Josh did the last time around with his Jack 7 suited, so he's definitely got a little bit better position to take a possible double up here. Catches a couple of clubs. He's got some outs.
But it's a 7.
The 7 will work too.
7 on the river.
Yep, he gets a pair of 7s, doubles up through Al.
Still not many chips to work with, but it's better than the alternative, right?
Well, certainly not many chips when the blind goes up, because here we are now at 5,000 and 10,000 blinds. Jeremy looks down at pocket deuces and folds them from early position. And Ish goes all in for 11,000, so 1 chip extra with King 5 of diamonds.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how many micro stacks we've seen here. People with 1, 2, 3, 4 blinds even, and still hanging on.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to play it down that low. Uh-oh.
Wow, Mark with another big hand. It's almost a waste here, right? He's in the big blind. He's only got to call 1,000 more.
Right? So,
He's like, why didn't you have a good stack?
So that's an easy call, to say the least. And into the middle they go. Mark's got a dominating spot on this hand.
Yeah, about 2.5 to 1. So. Oh,
There's
9
a
more.
jack. Yep, that just put a hammer lock on it. Mark sets up. The 8 on the turn does Ish in. He's drawing dead.
Wow, he landed a big pair, flopped a set, and all he gets is basically the blind. Right?
Yep, he pretty much won the blinds. And an extra,
and an extra
1,000.
blind, right? Yeah.
Ish goes out in 6th place, $290.
Nice job, Ish. Way to hang in there.
Down to our final 5 now. Still at 5 and 10,000 blinds. Matt looks down at Queen Deuce of Hearts. Gotta figure we're going to definitely get a wider range of action now, being down to 5-handed.
Yeah, certainly. And still, 1 short stack, certainly, with Mike left.
And that's got to go in right now. Ace 5 is all in for 1 blind, 10,000 chips. Mark, in the small blind, has to call 5,000 with 3-9 offsuit. Decides against it.
He certainly could have afforded to speculate there, but Jeremy certainly could have come over the top, too, if he did that.
Exactly. And Jeremy checks, but he could have easily come over the top, and then
This is going to be chopped a lot here. Yeah.
Matt would have definitely had to fold.
Wow. Mike's actually going to win this. He needed
Mike
the 2 and the 3.
Pulls it out with a flush.
Oh, did he catch the flush?
He caught the flush on the river, and see, that's what they're double checking here.
Well, he wins it with the Ace 5, regardless, right?
Yeah, he had him out kicked. That low card on the river happened to be a club to give him a flush, but the low card on the river made his 5 play anyway. So he does double up plus.
I'm going to blame the video quality. I mean, not seeing the distinction between the clubs and spades.
Okay.
Not my old eyes.
Sure, okay. You let me know how that one works out for you. Still 5 and 10. Folds around to Jeremy with 9, 10 of spades. Suited connectors here. He's on the button. Goes all in for 27,000.
That 9-10 suited certainly a lot more attractive in a 200 blind cash game where you can win a big pot occasionally. Not so enticing when you only got 3 blinds left in the tournament, but you got to take what you can get here.
But he's got enough to take down the blinds if if the blinds don't have decent hands. And Matt quickly folded, and Al's only got Jack Deuce. So does he want to call off another 17,000 chips to on a speculation hand like that?
Judging by the way he looks, he does not want to.
He doesn't want to, but he's certainly thinking about whether he should. And that's the thing. There, Jeremy had just enough to make Al think about it.
Yeah, I think does Al have the chip lead? He may want to be just thinking about preserving his lead, and he's, how much is he ahead of Jeremy's shove range here? I mean, his range has got to be all over with only less than 3 blinds, but. it can go either way, I think.
Yeah, Al's counting them out, see where he's going to be if he happens to make the call and loses. Looks like it's a significant part of his stack.
I think Al's got some bigger chips back there.
You can't really tell from that camera angle. You can see Matt's got a couple of blue chips sitting there. But
our production team didn't give us the updated chip count here.
yeah, that's unfortunate. I think the producer had to go home. Or to bed or something. Al's really in the tank on this one.
I take back what I said about Jeremy tanking. Al's tanking even longer, I think. There he goes.
And Al does make the call after all that.
And he's going to be thrilled to find out he's ahead.
And yeah, it's a little less than a coin flip, but he is ahead. Jeremy's not going to get there, apparently, the way he threw that last card away. Did not. The Queen of Hearts isn't going to help him. Jeremy, our 5th place finisher.
Yep, nice job, Jeremy. Could have gone a little differently for him coming in with the chip lead, but a couple of tough breaks at the beginning even him out.
Yeah, that was a tough call for Al. I don't blame him either way on that one.
Yeah. Not excited about Jack 2, certainly.
Al raises the 20,000 with ace-6 of hearts. Mike goes all in with 8-10 of hearts for 15,000, so a blind and a half. Then for less.
Mike's had a lot of all-in success today.
Mark looks down at Queen 7 of clubs.
I don't mind Mark taking this flop here. He's in the big blind, right?
Yep, he's only got to call the min raise.
Closing the action.
In order to get there, so he does make the call. So we have a side pot, 10,000 chips between Al and Mark. Mike can win the main pot. Here we go. We'll see three-way action to the flop. King, ace, 4, 2 spades. Nobody's got spades.
Al's got that ace, though.
Yep. Al catches top pair and bets out.
And Mark won't continue.
Mark quickly folds. Now we're going to flip him up and see where we're at. Mike sees that he's in really bad shape. 3% to win this hand. Well, he caught some outs with that 10, or the queen.
Gutter ball.
But the 3 of diamonds, runner diamonds, does not help.
Mike's going to go out in 4th place.
Takes home $530 for his efforts.
Nice job.
Now we're down to 3-handed action here.
So I think Mark's a little bit shorter than the other 2. But, some decent stacks to play with here.
Yeah, now with all the chips consolidated into 3 hands, there's definitely a little bit more playable stacks. Blinds are still high, so it's not like we're 15 or 20 blinds deep, but
right.
There's definitely room to make some calls and folds if you needed to.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Mark really has enough chips to be min raising here. He might be better served to move all in.
But he did min raise with Queen 9 to 20,000.
Yeah, and Al certainly can defend. Oh, action flop for him.
Couple of clubs for Al and top pair for Mike or from Mark. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. Al finally checks. Mark goes all in. Al makes the quick call. Pretty much a coin flip from here. Club on the river gives Al a flush.
And he's going to be happy about that.
Yep. Al was, Mark, they caught out 4 blue chips right there, so Mark had a bigger stack than we thought.
Well, I think he probably only had about 60 to start with, it looks like.
But Al did have him covered, so
yep.
Mark goes out in 3rd with a $770 payday. Definitely nothing to sneeze at.
And I think Al is going to have a lead in this heads-up match.
Yeah, they've each got several blue chips behind them, so it's going to be pretty close. Matt goes all in from the small blind with 7-5 of clubs.
A little aggressive for the 7-5.
Al calls with ace-7. Wow, this is
got him dominated.
Yeah.
Could be over in one hand a heads-up play.
No, at least one hand on the video. Let's see how this goes. Corey and Mike stuck around to deal for us in the final three-handed action. So this is Corey.
You know it's Corey when you got the pause for every card.
Corey likes to give us time to talk.
A little drama.
So, a couple of jacks and a 9. 2 clubs for Matt. King of Hearts didn't help anybody. Matt needs a club to stay alive. Or he can
Or the 5?
Yeah, or he pairs 5. And it is the deuce of clubs. Matt wins that one. Catches his flush on the river. We've had a couple of flushes on the river.
Yeah. Al just hit one. Now Matt's got one to keep him in the game.
And Mike hit one earlier. To double up.
That's right.
Blind's now up at 7,500 and 15,000.
It's getting a little tough here.
Uh-oh. Terry's hand is in the house. Pocket 5s for Al. And Matt's got one of them. 5 tray.
5-3 does not sound too exciting here.
They're talking it out. I think they came up to
they're making a deal here.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to play hands out so they get a winner?
Yep. So I think they agreed to chop the money. Al goes all in and Matt calls.
As usual, there's more money at stake. Bigger difference between first and second for the tournament champions here.
So they did.
Most TLCs end up with the chop deal, it seems like.
Yeah, the last couple have. We got some spades out there.
Yep.
Al's got the higher spade.
Look at this.
Kings and 9s, 2 pairs. It's a
2
chop.
pairs and ace. Al thinks he won.
Chop. Al does think he won. Yep. Al thinks he won, but Matt knows
His
it's
pair
a
is
chop.
counterfeited.
It is a chop. How about that? They made a deal, played it out, and it's a chop. So we're going to see another hand.
So they're just agreeing to move all in pre-flop, and whoever wins, wins? Whoever gets all the chips wins? Or is it just the winner of the hand? So I think it's just the winner of the hand.
I think it was the winner of the hand. They still got the chips out there, so.
Oh man,
wow. What a difference the hand makes.
They both end up with nice pairs.
Jacks and 9s. Matt's got this one dominated. Al's drawn to 2 outs. Save for the miracle flush or straight draw. Got a queen in the window. And a pair of 5s. Where's Terry's hand when you need it? That was the last hand.
You really need to be in this game.
Yeah, I know it. Been seeing a lot of those 5s. Al's drawing really, really short now. 2 outs to go. Another 5.
They could chop again if a 5 hits or a queen.
A 5 or a queen, chops it again.
And I think Corey's explaining that right now, just in case Al's not getting it. Doesn't want him to react prematurely.
And the river card is...
my!
It's the miracle 9 for Al. He caught the 2 outer on the river. And there we go. We have fantastic. A winner. Our 2022 Tournament of Champions, Matt Vigiano in second place, $1,535 payday. Al Hurd is our champion. Also a $1,535 payday after they did the chop deal, but Al Hurd is our official Tournament of Champions champion.
Yeah, both those guys played pretty well all night. Congratulations to both of them.
For Bob Williamson, I'm Terry Prince. So long from the Metro Detroit Poker Series. Have a good night.
Peace.